Throughout my years of training in my 20s, things wasn't always great in my first few years. I made a number of mistakes, some which I learned pretty quick from, and some which took me many years to realize, which greatly slowed down my progress. So today I'm gonna highlight some of the biggest mistakes that I made throughout my journey and what lessons that I learned that you need to know as well. Number one is to set goals and have a plan of action. In my first few years of training, I didn't really have specific goals apart from just wanting to get bigger and stronger. And by specific goals, I'm talking about having certain numbers that I wanted to hit in certain lifts, such as the bench press, barbell squats, and the deadlift. Even though I did train with someone who was well experienced in the gym for my first year or so of training. Looking back, it's like I was training aimlessly. Now, for a beginner at the time, it isn't too bad because anything that you do in your early years of training will make you grow and get stronger. So I did see results regardless. However, leading into my fourth and fifth year of training, my mindset didn't really shift. My goals wasn't specific and I didn't really have a proper plan. I know what my training schedule was and that was about it really. It got to the point where my progress was slowing down, and up until just before COVID, I was pretty much just going through the motions with my training. I was just training just for the sake of it. This is something that you guys need to avoid after a certain point in your training. If you want to get to the next level of strength or aesthetics, you need to have a goal and a plan of action. Number two is not eating enough food. When I first started training, I did make some good changes to my diet. I was eating more fruit, having bigger meals, and using supplements like protein shakes to help. However, even though I was eating more, I still wasn't eating enough, even though I thought I was at the time. When the lockdown happened, it was a time where I could reflect on my progress and figure out why I wasn't really progressing in building muscle specifically. I came across calorie counting when doing some research, and I said to myself, maybe I need to actually count how many calories I'm consuming. So I downloaded MyFitnessPal and tracked what I was eating, and lo and behold, it told me I indeed was under eating. All this time I thought I was eating enough when I wasn't. From that day onwards, I went on a proper bulk, consuming at least 3,000 calories per day, and my strength absolutely skyrocketed. This silly mistake was holding me back for many years. So whatever goal you have in mind, please make sure you eat accordingly. The next lesson I learned was not to compare yourself to other people in the gym. Of course, this is a cliche saying, but it's true and it holds weight. Comparing yourself to others only reduces how you see your progress. The truth is, you can't look exactly like someone else. You can't have someone else's chest, their back, their legs, their abs, whatever you think of, and why, it's because of genetics. Genetics play the biggest role in how our muscles will look and how it sits on our frame. It will play a big part in how strong you become as well. Aside from genetics, everyone who trains will have different goals. Some people train for strength, some for looks or aesthetics, and some for endurance, or people just train for overall health. All these goals will require different types of approaches to their training. So a strongman athlete will look completely different from someone who does bodybuilding or someone who participates in CrossFit, because they train differently and they have different goals. Lastly, a lot of the biggest bodies that we see and the strongest athletes that we see on TV or on social media, a lot of those athletes are on drugs. Comparing yourself to a Mr. Olympia bodybuilder is doing you no favors, because the physique that they have cannot be attained naturally. It's okay to get motivation from them, but don't compare yourself to those people. Now, my next mistake was not training intensively enough. Looking back, I can honestly say that I wasn't really pushing myself to where I should have. As I said earlier, as a beginner, you will grow and you'll get stronger no matter how hard you train in your sessions, because your body is forced to adapt. So I can give myself a little bit of leeway when it comes to that. However, it did take me a while to realize that I need to train close to failure in order to see further progress after a certain number of years, around the 4 to 5 year mark. I think had I adopted that mindset sooner, I would have reached a higher level of strength a lot younger, so I do regret it to a point. So to you guys out there, the effort that you put in is what you get out of it when it's all said and done. And my last biggest mistake was not documenting my progress. This of course is something that I'm doing now on my channel, but when I started out, I didn't really take much progress pics, only a few here and there. I didn't even record any of my sessions for the first 3 years at least, so I don't have much documentation to show my progress from my early years. No notes, no nothing. So I encourage you all to document your fitness journey, whether it's taking progress pictures, recording your workouts, or even making notes in a journal, whether that's in a book or on your phone or on a computer. At least it's something that you can look back on and you can see how far you've come. It's really a great thing to do. Now, even though I've made these mistakes in the past, I don't really look back at them in a regretful manner. I just attribute them to being a part of my personal fitness journey. and accepting that things don't have to be perfect in the beginning to be successful. So as long as you guys have the right mentality to strive and get better, you will succeed in the end. Thanks for watching. I'm out.